श्रीमान् वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्. It is our great bhagyam to enjoy Sriman T.R. Kuppuswamy Iyengar's wonderful compilation of Ramayana Navarasam. We dwelled and immersed ourselves in the Sringara Rasam. Today let's take up the Haasya Rasam. Hasyam is that which makes us smile with a chuckle, or which makes us happy and which makes us laugh and wonder how and why that conversation came. So it could be because of some unexpected event, or the talk or the conversation which may likely to be misunderstood or misinterpreted in a different manner, and it causes laughter. So like this, let's enjoy. Valmiki Munivar, the sage Valmiki, has very nicely inserted Haasya Rasam in his slokas. Especially, we should never ever forget that he is not writing based on his imagination or fantasy. He is a great poet, of course. Swami Desikan mentions that only Vyasa and Valmiki are the two poets in the world. Nobody else can claim or deserve to be called poet. So the Kavi, Valmiki Adi Kavi, he writes what he has seen as per the blessing of Chaturmukha Brahma. So whatever that he writes, that it has happened, it's all true and nothing but truth. So the first one, Hanuman was praised by Ramachandra Murthy when Hanuma, as instructed by Sugriva in Rishyamukha Parvatam, where they were staying, they saw from a distance Rama and Lakshmana were walking towards. So Hanuman, being the chief minister or the right hand of Sugriva, was asked to inquire as to who these two gentlemen are, who come in the garb of Rishi, the sage, but who look like princes. Are they being sent by Vali? Sugrivan was having apprehension. So Hanuman came in the guise of a Brahmin, and he came in front of Rama, and he spoke so beautifully, so nicely, and it was such a talk which was as smooth, and Rama praises him and Rama admires his way of talking. He says he is Vedantic scholar. Whoever gets the blessing of Hanuman being his minister is actually very fortunate, Rama says. Rama praises him like that. And such great Vyakarana Panditan, Vedantic scholar, he crossed the ocean, which is as big as 100 yojanas. 1 yojana is equal to 8 miles. 100 yojanas, the ocean, which he crossed, which he jumped across, and he entered into the Lanka. He searched for Sita everywhere, and he entered into Ravana's harem, and where it was a night time, where Ravana's very many spouses, the wives, were sleeping on their respective beds, and some were sleeping in an awkward positions, and in a very excellent bed which was decorated with lovely lamps and with wonderful clothing and alankarams. Ravana's spouse, Pattamahishi Mandodari, was sleeping. The moment he saw Mandodari so beautifully sleeping with so much of dress and the abharanams and the tejas and on such a lovely soft smooth bed, the moment he saw Tarkayamasa Siteti Rupa Yavana Sampada, Valmiki says in Sundaragandam 10th Sargam 53rd Slokam, this youthful, most beautiful, well decorated bed, it should be Sita. He has decided, Hanuman. He was so happy to have found out Sita. Oh, great! She must be Sita because she is so pretty. She is well dressed, and she is sleeping on such a smooth, soft, lovely bed. So, like a typical monkey, he started jumping. The next slokam, 54th slokam, he says, Aspotaya masa Chushumba Pucham Nanantashkrita Jagau Jagama Stambanarogan Nipapada Bhumau Nidarishayan Swam Prakritim Kapina. He patted on his shoulder. Well done, my boy. He took his tail in his hand and he started kissing the tail tip. He sang, he danced, he was excited, he walked here and there, he jumped, he climbed the pillar, he came down, and he did all that was natural and inherent for monkeys. He did that. Natevakan Rza Bhavati. Your word would never become false, said Chaturmukha Brahma to Valmiki. So all these Hanumat Cheshtai, all truth. And it makes us smile and imagine and laugh when we imagine that. Immediately in the next minute, because of his scholarship, he realized that he made a mistake, Hanuman. How could Sita Devi, who is separated from her beloved consort Sri Ramachandra Murthy, sleep, get dressed like this, get decorated like this, sleep on such a soft bed in Ravana's Antapuram, in his palace? How is it possible? This is completely idiotic and foolish of me to think that she is Sita. And it was right on his part, justifiable to think after crossing 100 yojana ocean, after taking so much of strain and effort and with so much excitement, he was searching for Sita. And obviously the first person, the first prettiest woman he found in Ravana's palace, he thought it is Sita, which is expected, but it's not that appropriate to think of Sita on Ravana's palace sleeping like this. And it can be visualized that Hanuman was so emotional and excited. So that was one. And in another place, Hanuman went, he saw Sita Pirati in Ashokavanam, simply fully grief stricken, with tears, always with the tear marks on her cheeks permanently there, because she has been crying for almost 10 months, and she is surrounded by all the Rakshasis. Of course Ravana came and threatened, he went back. So now Hanuman tried to convince Sita, sitting in the top of the tree reciting Ramayana story, came down and made sure that all the Rakshasis were sleeping or were in swooned stage. And after giving the ring of Rama, the Anguliyam, then she was convinced that he is Ramadutan. Now both of them are talking in a nice manner and in a lovable manner. Sita and Hanuman, both of them tried to explain their position from each side, and Hanuman now tries to assure Sita, Pirati, Mata, do not lament anymore, don't fear. It is just for me to go back and inform Rama. That's all. He would come. We all will come as one army, and we would sure win. Sita did not respond because she was not convinced that the ocean, the Ravana's palace, such a strong, how would they be able to cross the ocean? So she was still remorse with grief, and she looked She looked expressionless and she didn't respond. Immediately Hanuman was so sad that she is not convinced. He gave more assurance. Devi, drop your worries. Forget all these things. Now, don't worry. I would take care of you. Come, sit on my shoulder. I would immediately jump across the ocean and take you to Rama. That's all. Like the Chandran, the moon and the Rohini, you would be always united with him. Prishtamarohame Devi Vikankshasva Shobhane Yogamanvicha Ramena Shashankayenava Rohini. So Devi, as we speak right now, I can take you straight to Sri Rama. I would see you fully excited and happy, joyously united with Rama. Because he was so excited, he was so, he was so enthused to help Sita. Because he saw her grief-stricken, he saw her completely filled with sorrow, he immediately wanted to offer the solution. She was thinking inside. She smiled, had a chuckle, and she said, now I can understand your monkey nature. And she thought inside, the stree from the little monkey having a stree on his back, crossing the ocean is risky and dangerous. However, I would not even touch the other male's body. I would not even touch, being a pativrata. He does not even know. She thought inside. Hanuman dhuramatvanam katammam odumichasi in 29th slokam. And Hanuman, because of his own accord, because of his nature, because of his excitement, he suggested that. He did not think, or he did not mull over before speaking. He just reflect. It was a reflex action. Seeing her sorrow, he said, don't worry, I will take you on my shoulder. I will jump and make you united. So Sita now says, if Ravanas and the other Rakshasas chase you, you would start fighting with them and I may fall into the ocean. It's completely risky and dangerous. And moreover, Hanuman is a messenger. Can he take me and hand over to Rama? Is it not unbecoming of Rama to do that? Would it not bring wrong name to Rama's valor? He should come. He should fight against. He should conquer Ravana, and he should take back. That is the greatness that would declare his valor and the strength. That would bring name and fame to Rama, and not this. Hanuman understood. I'm sorry. It is a laughing matter. Please do not have any regard on whatever I spoke. It's my mistake. He agreed. So this is yet another Haasya rasam. Then of course, when Ravana, after Ravana was killed, all the Rakshasas were destroyed. Hanuman came to Sita's place, again Ashokavanam. He says, Ravana is killed. Now Vibhishanan has become Lankadipati. So don't worry anymore. Be happy. Now it is your turn to come back. And Lanka Pattanam is now belonging to Vibhishana. And hence it is your place as well. So Sita was for a moment silent, and then she could not speak. Her voice was choked. She had tears of joy, and she said, I'm unable to say, I'm unable to thank you, Hanuman. Who can be equal to you? How much you have done? How can I pay back for what you have done? I can give gold, I can give silver, I can give gemstones, I can give any precious stones, and nothing would equal what you have done for me. I can give the entire 3 worlds, and even that would not pay back for what you have done to me. You are such a great strong, and you have such a patience, you have such politeness, you have so many good qualities. She praised him emotionally, and Hanuman was simply moved by her joy. She said, I consider this as your blessing, and I just need one reward for my effort, one reward. Because he was looking at the Rakshasis surrounding Sita, who had been torturing her for the past 10 months, making her terribly suffer. And it was not a simple torture. We would kill you, we would prick your eyes, you should accept Ravana, all that they were forcing. And now, give me a chance. I would crush all these Rakshasis with my hands. I would kill them, I would kick them, I would bite them, I would bite their nose, bite their ears, and I would pluck their hair, and I will destroy each one of them. He was so angered looking at them. And Sita again laughed. Hanuman, why are you talking like that? They are all simply the servants of Ravana, and they are employees of Ravana. They just did what they were asked to do. It's not that they did on their own accord. They had to do it, otherwise they would be punished. And it is I suffered because of my bad luck, my bhagyam, daurbhagyam. And the elders, the erudite scholars, they would not, whatever may be the mistake committed by anyone, they would bless them with their daya, with their grace. They would not punish them, because nakaschit na aparadhyati, who has not erred in this world. And papanam va shupanam va vadarhanam plavangama karyam karunamaryena nakaschit na aparadhyati, who has not erred. Hanuman hung his head in shame. Again, I made a stupid statement. I'm sorry. And that was one. Now, again, before proceeding to the forest, Rama and Sita wanted to do yatra dhanam. Before proceeding on a journey, one has to do yatra dhanam. So before proceeding to the forest for 14 years, he called the tapasvis, he called the Brahmins, he called the servants of the palace, and he gave dhanam for everyone. And with the help of Lakshmana, he did all that. The Guru Putran Suyajñar, he gave the golden ear studs and all that. And of course he gave many. Now there was one Brahmin by name Trijadan in Gargya Gotram. He was extremely poor. So his spouse, and along with his spouse and very many children, he came into Rama's palace hurriedly, because he could not wait for Rama to give. So because he wanted some dhanam. He was very poor, but he was extremely a great scholar. So because of his stages, no servant or the soldier stopped him. So he entered, went straight to Rama. Rajan, I am extremely poor, I have so many children, and I need to get rid of my poverty. Look at my lean frame of body, and I'm expecting you, I'm requesting you to give me some yatra dhanam. Rama looked at his lean and lanky body, the slim, very thin frame, and he had a slight chuckle looking at his body. So he was in a mood to tease that man, though it's not appropriate. And Swami, I have only 1,000 cows remaining, all others I have given. Now these 1,000 cows I can give, but what I would do, I will give you a stick. All these 1,000 cows are in front of my yard here, so at the backyard. So I would give you a stick, and you can throw the stick wherever the stick falls until that until that stick, however many cows are there, you can take them. So, tamuvacha tata Ramaha parihasa samanvitam gavam sahasramapyekam natu vishranitam maya. So that old Brahmin, he immediately took his veshti, shoved that veshti and ready to take the stick, and he inhaled his breath, and with all strength he took that stick and he rotated few times like a discus throw. He threw the stick and it went beyond the Sarayu Nadi, not even the 1,000 cows, beyond the Sarayu Nadi, at a very large distance, and it included not just this 1,000, very many thousands behind, including the ox, the bulls, the buffaloes and the cows, everything. So Rama was simply mesmerized and overwhelmed with joy. He hugged the Brahmin and he said, you can take them all, including the cowherd boys and everyone. And he sent them to the Trijada's ashram, and he honored the Brahmin with Argyapadya Tirtham, and then he gave him food, and he said, I'm sorry, I should not have said like that, testing your strength with a teaser, and it is my mistake. I should have given you just like that all the cows. Please do not be angry on me, forgive me. He said that, and that was another Hasyam which Rama spoke with. Okay, now the Viradan was a Rakshasan, and he was so, that Virada Rakshasa, he used to take rishis and eat their mamsams. And when Rama, Lakshmana and Sita were walking towards Viradan, he stopped them with his hand and he took hold of Sita, and Sita was shivering, and hence Rama said, Lakshmana, I would kill this Viradan. Look what happened to Sita. Now then Viradan left Sita and started taking Rama and Lakshmana on his shoulder and started walking with them, carrying on his shoulder. So the moment Rama broke open the Ayudham of Virada, immediately he took them on his shoulder and started running. So Rama told Lakshmana, I think now we don't have to walk in the forest. Let him take whatever distance, because he was so huge and large. We don't have to take strain of walking all these ways. Let him carry. So Rama was making a very mild, light-hearted statement there. Actually, Sita was crying behind, which Rama did not bother about. He made this statement to Lakshmana that let him carry both of us so that we don't have to walk all these ways, because his legs are so huge and big, we can cover much of distance just by sitting on his shoulder. And only when he heard Vaidehi is crying, he understood that Rakshasa needs to be killed, and immediately he told Lakshmana, kill him, because Sita needs to be saved. And when he was to be placed inside a pit, because this Rakshasa cannot be killed by Ayudham, and hence we need to have a small hole, a big hole, and put this Viradan inside. Of course, then he got the Chapa Vimochanam. He said, I am the Tumburu Gandharva, and because of the curse I am like this, and I heard that two Rama Lakshmana would come and they would save me. Now please make a hole on the ground and bury me inside. You will get all auspiciousness, may it befall on you. Thus, even in the time of danger, Rama spoke in a light-hearted manner, Astane Hasyamagum, Kalattukku Yerkada Nagaichuvai. And that is what is talked about here. Of course, there is more of Hasyam in Kumbhakarna, when the Kumbhakarna was woken up how he was woken up. Very many Rakshasas came into Kumbhakarna and they started jumping on him, they started biting his nose, ears, they started hitting his face, still he did not get up. So these very many ways Hasyam is enjoyed. Of course, there was one more Hasyam on Surpanaka. I will just take 3-4 minutes. When Surpanaka came, she looked at Rama and Sita playfully talking, and so she said, "I am Surpanaka, Ravana's sister." And when she saw Rama, who was so handsome, so majestic, so divine, he said, "Why are you married to this? Why are you with this lean, slim, young lady, Sita? You marry me. She is old. She is not as beautiful, as pretty as I am." Surpanaka says, "And you are not. And why are you having the sage rishi dress? You should become a prince. You should, once you kill this Sita, kill your brother Lakshmana. We both can live happily in this forest. This forest belongs to me. And Ram, who are you? Why have you come here?" Then of course Rama explains, and then Rama tells in a jocular manner, "I am married and this Sita is my wife, and why do you want this Sita, who is very, very dangerous, to be your shakalati, means your competition? So more than me, my younger brother who is standing there, he is more handsome and he is perfectly matching to you. So, and he does not have any girlfriend. He is not married." Rama was telling a lie here, and hence you can approach him. So you go there, be happy. Now, because she believed Rama, she went to Lakshmana and started talking to Lakshmana, and Lakshmana laughed. "Oh, my Anna said like that. I am only his humble servant. Why do you want to be the wife of a servant? You should get married to the master. He is my master, and by getting married to me, you also become a servant to Sita. Instead, become a master's wife. Go and become his second wife." And hence she again believed, and she went to Rama again. Now she said, because she is the competition to me, I am going to kill her. And she started running towards Sita. And that's the time Rama was really angered, and he told Lakshmana, she cannot trouble us like that. So make sure that you somehow give a fitting response, and then cut her one of her ears and the nose and send her back. So Lakshmana, as instructed by Rama, cut her ear and the nose. And then Surpanaka, Valmiki mentions Parihasa Vilakshana, Parihasathirkku Palakkappadadaval. Now she went back crying, and she went to Karan, her brother. Now Rama and Surpanaka, Valmiki explains, and Surpanaka was tossed between Rama and Lakshmana as a laughing stock. And now, even though it brings us a kind of a mixed feeling, that a laughter as well as a sadness, because she had such a sincere love towards Rama and the Parampurul and the Paramatma. Naturally she was attracted by Rama's majestic divine beauty, and the way she explains even afterwards about Rama is how much she loved him is visible. Now that way she is actually capable of going to even moksha, but all that mistake she did was she loved Rama without Sita. She wanted to separate Sita from Rama, which is not the appropriate thing for each one of us. Pirati and Perumal should be together. That's the takeaway from this. Adiyan Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi. Adiyan.